Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I said welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast with Andy Ruther and Joe Crano. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast.
Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host from Los Angeles, California, Joey No Chill Prano.
Hello, Andy.
Morning, man.
Morning. How's the weather there in Ohio? You're in a hoodie. You just in your like air-conditioned basement?
It's freezing down here, man. Outside is just disgustingly hot and humid. I hate, excuse me. Yeah. I hate the summers here, man. I hate them.
Well, that's what I was going to say. It's unreasonably humid this year in Los Angeles. It's
Don't you hate it?
I mean, I don't, the only reason I don't full hate it is because obviously I've experienced much worse. Even Los Angeles at its most humid is not, New York or Ohio or wherever. But yeah, it is. It's swampy out here, and I don't enjoy it. I've been complaining a lot lately about our cold, wet winter and our humid summer. I'm like, this is not what you bargained for. This is some bullshit.
No, man, the humidity is the worst. I've always said I'll take, like when I lived in Las Vegas, I know you're like, holy shit, it's still 95 at 10 o'clock at night. I'm like, yeah, at least it's dry. There's no bugs.
People, that is like a weird, I mean,
there's no bugs,
the bugs, whatever, but like the dry heat, dude, I was in Palm Springs this weekend. People are like, oh, at least it's a dry heat. You get in your car and you sit down and then you just die. You're just like, I'm just dead. Like, if you don't have one of those reflective things on your windshield, you just get in and you're just like, huh. I was like, fuck this.
You touch the steering wheel, your hand just gets a third.
Touch the steering wheel, you're just Jack Nicholson getting thrown into the acid in the original Batman. Just fucking turn to the Wicked Witch of the West. I'm melting.
No, I know what you're saying. I'll still take that. This is me personally over humidity. Dude, I can't even, we all know how it's light out for a long time here. I can't even take my daughter on walks at night. The bugs are just like attacking us. I'm just like, dude, it's 8 o'clock. This is disgusting.
You don't have like a little mosquito net you put her in? Oh,
I do. There is a mosquito net thing you can put over, but then she wants to like look around, see what's going on. I can't.
I'll tell you a couple other places that are pretty swampy, Andy.
New Orleans?
That's Atlantic City, New Jersey, where I'll be August 4th and 5th.
Oh, okay.
At Atlantic City Comedy Club, which is at the Claridge Casino. It's just a couple weeks away now, guys. 4th and 5th, bringing friend of the show, Pete Sestaro, with me. We will be at Atlantic City Comedy Club, August 4th and 5th. And then, of course, very swampy. And you got to carry around your own fan. You're talking about bugs and mugginess. New Orleans, Louisiana. It shouldn't be too muggy in December when we're down there for the 1000th episode of the Dirty Sports Podcast, December 16th at Comedy House, New Orleans, and December 17th. It will definitely not be muggy inside the Superdome for Giants at Jameis.
We're getting some good feedback. I see you, Dirtball fam. I appreciate the messages. People already getting turned to come down to New Orleans. And I think we're going to get a nice little turnout for 1,000.
I love it.
So, yeah, guys, if you...
So put both of those things on your calendar.
Yeah, it's a good time. It's going to be a good time. I mean, how can it not? I can't wait to just see some dirtballs.
I'm just excited. Like, to me,
blacked out, just being idiots.
My favorite part of New Orleans is the food, man. I'm so excited to go down there and just get some like charbroiled oysters, get some beignets.
I'll shred my ass though. Some of that spicy jambalaya.
Go to Domelice's. Have you been to Domelice's, Andy? You're gonna love it. It's like it's literally where the Manning brothers would like go eat lunch after school. Little po' boy shack.
I love me a little po' boy.
Little just a Manning endorsed po' boy shack.
So
They
I'd
have a
argue.
great one down there. It's a surf and turf. It's a roast beef po' boy with fried shrimp. Come
Mm.
on.
I'd argue a little Cajun food. I put it on the underrated. If we're doing overrated, I would 100% say underrated. In fact, I'd even go as far as enough people that say they don't like it. What's wrong with you if you
Yeah.
don't like that food?
Yeah.
Because I know some people in my life who are like, "Oh, I don't like it. It's too spicy." Or
Yeah. And it's really like the spicy is not even like fact, but like just good, like seafood, sausage. Anytime you're doing seafood and sausage, you got a lot of shellfish. Let's go.
yeah. Well,
In New Orleans, you got barbecue, you got pastries, you got coffee. Oh man, like a good New Orleans style coffee, a little chicory coffee. Let's go.
literally, I have no clue what you're talking about. What is chicory coffee?
Chicory is just like a spice they do. Cafe Du Monde, which is the famous beignet place. You've probably seen the cans at supermarkets. It's like big enough now where it's like they sell their cans of chicory coffee. But it's got like a little, it's not like cinnamony, but it's like almost a little bit, kind of. And it's just mixed in with the coffee blend. Oh, it's so good.
Last time I had coffee was Amarillo, an iced coffee, and just I hadn't had one. Yeah, there we go. I hadn't had one in like 15 years.
Doing the millennial Gen Z coffee ice shake.
And then I just exploded diarrhea before that game.
Well, that's why I needed an extra 5 minutes this morning. I didn't have time this morning to get up and make myself a cup of coffee. So I ran down the block, got coffee, and the minute it hit me, I was like, Andy, I need a...
So it hits you even if you drink it regularly.
Oh, dude, are you kidding? I have a mug. You've seen the mug. Coffee makes me poop. No joke. If I get up late enough in the morning, if I get up at like 9, that's late for me. But if I get up at 9 and I start grinding my coffee beans, it makes me go to the bathroom. No joke. Like the aroma of it triggers it. If I get up early, 7:30, 8, I'll make coffee, and the second it hits my lips, we're going streaking. Like
I was gonna say, yeah, a little old school right there.
Yeah.
I thought that was more for people like me who don't drink coffee.
No. It's very much a part of my bowel movement morning.
But it's not giving you the squirts, right? It's just like a normal bowel movement.
Yeah, but it's activation sauce.
Interesting. All right, so quick over under on amount of dirt balls that puke the first night in New Orleans. 1.5.
Oh, no way!
I mean,
way.
we have adults here. Like, how many people are gonna puke?
I might puke. First day down there.
When's the last time you puked from alcohol?
I don't even know. It's been a while. Maybe Kobe. Probably Kobe Bryant challenge. I mean, I don't drink to the point of puking anymore.
So I was at this.
Trying to think if I've like shotgunned or chugged like multiple things and like puked. I don't think so though. Probably Kobe.
That was 2016.
Yeah.
I'm saying it's been a while.
But it's a similar kind of vibe. You show up to your first night in New Orleans you're just like, let's go.
Do you have a moment in your life that you remember, or you're blacked out or kind of near blacked out, where it's like that's one of the worst puking moments? I remember on spring break in college in Mazatlan, Mexico. The first night, the classic. I'm in a it's like where you're in the bathroom on the floor, drank way too much. I just remember just looking up, like your friends are coming in, they're like opening the stall, like, "You all right, Ruther?" It's like, I feel terrible. Like that's.
I feel like I got that moment. I feel like the reason I don't have a ton of those is because I got mine out really early. Like when I was in high school, we went to we had like a winter dance, and after the winter dance, I got fucked up, And like, I don't remember. I was like pretty blackout, but like there was an after party in some girl's like house that her parents had like just moved out of. It was like an empty house. And I was like on the floor, like hanging with some girl on the floor and just started puking, like puked all over her. Apparently, like one of the other guys on the basketball team, like put me over his shoulders and like carried me out of the party. And I was like puking over his shoulders. And I remember the reason I remember I know the exact day it was because when I woke up the next day, I had literally no idea where I was. No, I was like, where the fuck am I? And I came to, and I was at this kid I was actually, I think I was I a junior? I don't know what, maybe it might have been my sophomore year. I don't know. No, I think it was my junior year. But I woke up and I was at the house of a kid who was maybe graduated from the basketball team the year before. Anyway, in some dude's house that I knew from hoops. Half the basketball team is there. We all like crashed there after this party. Apparently, I'm not barely friends with the guy. Like how I got into this guy's house, I don't know. But apparently, just put over somebody's shoulder. And I woke up in the morning, and they were like, "Dude, Brent Barry's dunk contest." And I was like, "Oh, I'm dead. This isn't real life. Like Brent Barry is Brent Barry did not win the dunk contest. Like absolutely didn't. Like this isn't real." And then I came to and was like, "Wait. Where am I? What happened? Brent Barry actually won the dunk contest? This is insanity." I was like, the whole world. I got drunk and puked on somebody, and the whole world went into the upside down. It was really embarrassing to go back to school like the Monday after. Hey, it's the kid who puked on everybody. Had to be carried out of the party, puking over somebody's back. And so from that day on, it was like, I don't have a ton of like public pukings because I was like, okay, don't do that anymore.
I was notorious. They could have almost called me Puke and Rally Ruther. I was notorious Puke and Rally. Now, some nights I didn't rally, but dude, I'd be that guy literally like drank so much. I'd be walking to the bar. I'm actually thinking of one right now. Yacked right outside the bar. Just let it all hang out. Just go right in and keep drinking. Like that was my move. Because I could never hold alcohol that well. And I would just spew it out and be like, let's fucking go.
I remember one of my great puking moments was I was at a bar in the Hamptons, like West Hampton or something, not even like the real Hamptons. It was like one of those like summer beach deck party kind of things. And this guy was like, we got a thing here where if you can shotgun, not shot, if you can, what is it? The fucking beer bong. If you can, funnel beer bong, whoever beer bongs the most beers at once gets the beers free and is like the beer bong champ of the day. And I was like, well, what's the record? And the guy's like 4 without puking. And I was like, oh, I'll do 5. So he puts 5 in. And
at once?
Yeah. So I beer bong 5.
No way.
Yes. I beer bong 5 beers and immediately I'm like, I'm gonna puke. So I like nodded my head and he was like, you okay? And I was like, and I casually stood up. I didn't like run or jog. I just like casually stood up, walked away, walked like down a bunch of stairs, like over to some bushes behind the fucking bar and just like immediately puked up 5 beers. And I came back and the dude was like, that was impressive. And I was like, I puked, dude. He's like, no, I know you puked, bro. He's like, obviously you puked. He's like, but everybody who does this and like just immediately pukes on the bar, like, or on the floor. We have like a guy who's literally, he's like Pedro the puke guy comes over and just like buckets you up. He's like, it's like the guy at the fucking Apollo. He just comes and sweeps you up. He's like honestly like impressively courageous that you didn't even like hustle away. He's like, you like saluted me and casually strolled like through a whole mess of people. You didn't like throw up on anybody. He's like, I watched you go puke in that bush. He's like, that's impressive. He's like, your beers are on me just for that. I was like, okay.
You know what you telling me this reminded me of like some of these. Well, first of all, some of these beer drinking deals, I'm thinking of in college where I went or ones I heard about. They would never be allowed to do nowadays.
Oh.
Never.
You can't. There's a lot of places where you can't do like 2-for-1s anymore.
The place across the street from me at St. Louis University, Humphreys, which I think they reopened because they had been closed for a while. Every Wednesday, going back to the 70s, penny pitchers. But the pitchers would run out. Like you hit, like it was a smart move by the bar. They'd say, okay, you got to get here. Penny pitchers would be from like 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. But like, obviously, do the math. A pitcher. But like, think about that. Penny pitchers. And my buddy knew a place where he was from, I think in Arkansas. Dude, the bar had a deal. They would get all the college kids in. It was everything was free. I think it was everything was free in the bar until somebody pissed. Like it was some crazy thing.
People
like
pissing their pants and stuff.
Yeah, no, it was some crazy thing. Like they had people by the bathroom doors the minute somebody went in there. And the whole
Everybody's
point,
like, boo.
Yeah, the whole point was we're gonna have just a bar full of people, and then we're gonna make the money because there's gonna be somebody who's just gonna break the seal.
Yeah,
but again, like you couldn't do any of this stuff.
And it was a girl that broke the seal every time.
It had to have been right?
Every time. This is a bit that I've been working on for a little bit, where it's like, you have you ever been like standing around and you're like, you have a moment where you're like, I kind of got to pee, and then you kind of like forget about it.
Oh, 100%.
And then next thing you know, you're standing over the toilet and you're like unleashing this piss, and you're like, Jesus Christ, why didn't I just piss an hour ago when I needed to piss?
100%.
And man, like piss comes on, you're like, oh, I kind of got to pee, And next thing you know, you're like, I really got to pee, but like I'm still fine. And I'm like, oh, I'm just doing something or whatever. It's like, you're painting or you're fucking doing it. And next thing you know, you just go and you like unleash this piss. Meanwhile, girls are like, I'll be like, you got to pee? And they're like, no, I'm good. And then 3 seconds later, it's like, if I don't get to a bathroom right now, I'm going to piss my pants. And you're like, but 3 minutes ago, you didn't need to pee. Well, now we need to pull over because I'm going to piss all over my pants. And you're like, the fuck is wrong with women?
That is weird. And you are right. It happened to me. It actually happened to me in my house the other day. I don't know what I was doing. And I was like, dude, you got to pee. But then I got caught up in whatever I was doing.
And the next thing you know, it hurts. And you're like, geez, I got to piss.
Just walk to the bathroom and pee.
Yeah.
There's nothing hindering you from doing that. Yeah. Girls
immediately go from not having to pee to panic. I just pissed myself. And you're like, what do you mean you just pissed yourself? We left the house 3 minutes ago. I didn't have to go then.
You know who can hold in his piss is Roscoe. Bro. And for an old man, I mean, he might be able to hold it. Like, you would think, okay, a dog goes to bed at, let's say, 11 p.m.
Yeah.
He's not like, I'm up and at him.
Oh, that was Vince, dude. That was Vince. Vince got up when I got up. If I was hungover, Vince is like, yeah, we'll sleep till 1 p.m. I'd be like, Vince. And he'd be like, bro, I mean, I am holding my piss here. He'd give you a look. But he'd never piss on the floor.
Yeah, man.
There's for sure times if I came home late and then got up late that Vince held his piss for 14 hours.
So he's got that in him too. He had that in him too.
It's those little dogs. You can do those little dog Kegels.
Dude, you've mentioned Kegels now twice within the last week.
Yeah, let's go.
Kegels. All right, I guess we should get into a little sports action.
Let me ask you something, Andy, because you didn't mention it in our pre-show. You've now started to do a thing the last couple months where I get a pre-show rundown because I don't know, maybe because I don't read the rundown, so you just prep me on the things we're gonna.
That's what I'm doing exactly.
And I'm like, dude, it's all good. Like, when have I not been able to go on the fly? I didn't check the rundown. I know I've seen you tweeting and threadsing about the Hard Knocks, but did you watch Quarterback at all?
I haven't.
I haven't either.
I
gotta say, I saw a couple of reviews saying it was like great, but also I think at this point all NFL content, like there are people who just boner out for it. To me, I mean, 3 of the least interesting dudes that you could possibly pick from. Honestly, the only person that really interests me is Marcus Mariota, where it's like, you know,
So
shows like,
it's Mahomes, Cousins, and Mariota.
yeah.
Oh, Mahomes is so boring.
Marcus Mariota is he Hawaiian?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, head and shoulders the least white guy on that show, right? Like, I mean,
yeah.
like just to me, and I mean, I haven't watched it yet, so I don't know how like well produced it was. And I finally got around to watching like Full Swing, and like I thought a lot of that shit, like a lot of the people that they feature on that, I was like, I don't really want to fucking see Tony. Like Tony Finau's like a boring ass Mormon fucking weirdo. And then again, you're like, well, at least there's a story there. Like his mom died, and like he takes his family with him and whatever. Like far and away, the most interesting to me is like Mariota in Atlanta fighting for a job on a team that's like, I'm like to me, there's nothing interesting at all at this point because we see him so much about Mahomes. It's like the guys, we're saturated with Mahomes content, and he's not like the most, like, I'd rather watch Travis Kelce paint a fucking house than Patrick Mahomes like break down a defense. And then Kirk Cousins is the antithesis of interesting. Kirk Cousins is like, he's an NFL quarterback, and he's bottom 5% interesting people on earth.
Well, they should have chosen more like charismatic people for, I mean, which
like, I cannot even imagine 8 episodes of like, no one believed in me. I was a backup. You like that fucking playoff Kirk, fucking the good Kirk necklace.
There'll be Jesus stuff in there too.
Oh, there'll be, oh God, it's going to be an exceptional amount of Jesus stuff.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm interested, but also
I'll watch it.
When Hard Knocks debuts, you watch the first one like that, and like the last couple years, I've fallen off. I've been like, not
this
that interesting.
This will be a good year.
Should be.
Well, you figured you have the Aaron Rodgers thing, the Zach Wilson thing. I like their coach. You got all these young guys. Rodgers must hate this because I think Rodgers, he's to the point everything has to be on his terms, right? And that's why he does McAfee's show. It's all on his terms. He doesn't do anything else. But I can also see Rodgers hating it at first, but then really enjoying the camera. I'm real curious about Zach Wilson. I don't really know much about him.
I think Aaron Rodgers will seem like he hates it, but he truly loves it. Like Aaron Rodgers is the kind of guy who's like, no, don't film me. I'll be coming out of my house in 3 minutes in case you want to film me.
Well, I mean, until recently, he wasn't, like, until he started doing the McAfee thing, he didn't put himself out there.
Yeah, but he was in Green Bay. It's like a real easy way to like not put yourself out there.
No, but my point is he never, unless I'm missing something, but like he never would have thought Aaron Rodgers was the guy to be discussing politics and COVID. You know what I'm saying? Like all those like hot button issues, I would never have said Aaron Rodgers is going to do that 5 years ago. That's why who knows how he'll be. I am, like I said, I'm real curious about Zach Wilson because like I don't know much about him. You know, apparently he likes older women from the tabloids. Is his mom going to be in it? I don't know.
He likes women that are in the ballpark of his completion percentage. He likes them like 41, 42.
Yeah. No, it should be good. Apparently they didn't want to do it though, of course.
Yeah. No one wants to do it, I don't think. Except for Jerry Jones, who's like, can I turn this into free McDonald's? If I end up getting my McGriddles for free,
cheap ass.
The money I save on that, I can give to my illegitimate child. Tell her not to talk to the press anymore.
The NFL's wild. I can't get enough of what's happening right now with the John Gruden email leak.
This is your BSO. This is White Sports Online. Andy Ruther, White Sports Online.
Oh yeah,
Like,
100%.
there's no one who loves a good fucking Gruden story, email leak, expose the NFL. For a guy who loves, like, there's no one who simultaneously like stands the NFL and also calls out the NFL as much as Andy Ruther.
I appreciate that. Well, that's the thing. I've always said I'm never going to stop watching, but dude, this stuff is nuts. With like when you first of all, I'm gonna preface it by saying most of this I got highly recommend because it's short. It's like 30 minutes long. ESPN put out a podcast on their ESPN Daily. I guess it's a podcast just called The Enduring Mystery Behind John Gruden's Email Scandal. It's like 30 minutes. I highly recommend. You should listen to it as well because it just goes into all the layers on the surface. Hey, John Gruden said a racist email. Hey, John Gruden said a homophobic email. That's like such surface level. This 30-minute.
Well, we all knew. I think anybody who knew anything knew that was some like that's the fish food that you feed to the aquarium to just like get them distracted from whatever is really in it. Like all that NFL shit is like that. The stuff, the little things they love to feed you so that you don't go, is this all fucking like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, the Kaepernick thing, from the Gruden thing, from the Snyder thing, from all the things. They're like, don't pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
But those things you just said, I think, are
the
basically
concussion thing
all in this together.
Right.
That's what's crazy. That's what's nuts about this. They're probably all in these emails, which will never see the light of day. Those 650,000 emails. So again, I recommend everybody listen to that. And basically, the Cliff's Notes version, and it's kind of deep. Basically, Roger Goodell, Dan Snyder, multiple NFL execs, DeMaurice Smith, the former NFL Players Association president, all played a role in leaking the Gruden emails because they all had an angle, which I find fascinating. So, for example, Gruden and Goodell hated each other. I didn't know any of this. Like, John Gruden hated Roger Goodell, and it was a personal beef, and it had been going on for a while. And they say in this podcast, one of the main instances like that we know for sure was Gruden was calling a Monday Night Football game on ESPN, and he was really critical of a penalty. Like, he wouldn't let it die. And he gets a note or email, whatever it is, from the NFL. They're like, hey, man, come down here. We got to talk about this stuff. Like, you're going on national TV, blah, blah, blah. And Gruden basically said, fuck off.
Yeah. Fuck off.
Yeah. So there's this long beef, and that's just one.
Say like, he's like, fuck off. You fucking call me to the office. I'll fucking got shit to do.
So he didn't go. So that's part of it. It's like Goodell had an opportunity.
You want to talk to me about it? You come down and you see me. I come to you. No, you see me. Tomorrow I got 14 college quarterbacks coming to my house to watch film. I don't have time to come to your office. I'm grinding.
So they had a personal beef, right? So then Dan Snyder wanted to toss Goodell a bone. It was a deflect. Because at this point, Washington's already been investigated and all the bad stuff that they've done with the cheerleaders, the sexual harassment, the whole 9 yards. Snyder apparently looked at it as an opportunity. Hey, if I throw Gruden under the bus to Goodell, because I know Goodell hates him, if I leak emails, then Goodell is in my favor now. So you're like, okay, wait, what?
Yeah.
And then you have
and they're like, wait, but why do you need him in your favor? He's like, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
It's definitely not sexual harassment, money laundering, fucking stealing
right?
from the league.
He's doing all that stuff. And then you have the
He's
NFL.
like, I have some pictures of Gruden doing dirty stuff. And Goodell's like, I love it. He's like, great. Just take your chopper to my boat. I'm parked offshore. I'm parked 100 miles off the shores of Greece. Why are you there? Don't worry about it. Nothing weird. I'm just not allowed to come back on fucking land. Is Dan Snyder still out at sea? Or did we ever settle that one?
I don't know. He still might be on his yacht in the Mediterranean. So you have Snyder, you have John Gruden. And again, I'm not doing it justice.
The original Ocean Gate.
Yeah. Then you have the NFL Players Association, DeMaurice Smith, who a lot of players weren't happy with. The election was going to happen. Are they going to reelect him as the president of the NFLPA? He thought, hey, I don't know if you remember, there was a blatant racist email from Gruden about him. Apparently he thought, hey, if I leak this and it shows how racist Gruden is towards me, players are going to have sympathy and they're going to vote to keep me in. So it just so happened the day of his vote that the players would vote, it was leaked to the Wall Street Journal, who printed it. And the ESPN's basically saying, you can call it a coincidence that it would leak in the morning. The vote was the afternoon and he gets reelected. You're like, okay, this is a lot of shit. But there's another angle. Jay-Z's Rock Nation has a they have a $25 million deal with the NFL when all the Kaepernick stuff started. And the CEO of Rock Nation, Desiree Perez, was like, how do we have it? The NFL's paying us $25 million. We need to have a win for them in terms of NFL standing up to
Well, you remember when the Jay-Z thing happened? Like, he kind of got called a fucking sellout.
He did.
Black community.
He did. So I guess as the CEO of Rock Nation, their whole point was working with racial injustice in the NFL, and it was viewed the NFL wasn't doing shit.
Right.
So apparently, again, all these people were denying it. She viewed it as, hey, if we leak a racist or many racist emails and Gruden gets fired, that's a W for how we're helping work with the NFL to handle racism. So Gruden is just taking literally body blow after body blow from like people who might not even have problems with him personally.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it all came out. And the crazy part about
it's amazing that through all this, and listen, I'm certainly not
justifying the emails. Yeah.
Right. I'm certainly not like the racism. And that's something that we've talked about at length on this show. It's like the things that people say and when they said it, and like a lot of things you can take out of context and whatever. Like, we're not super big cancel culture guys. But then, of course, there's always, to me, it's like the doubling down from people. When people say something or do something, you get caught in something racist, and then they're like, what? Like, oh, now we can't fucking, this is the world today. So like Gruden, he kind of took his lumps with it. But like, what's amazing to me is like, I'm kind of on Gruden's side. Like the people Gruden are battling are all fucking terrible people. Like, everybody who's coming at Gruden, you're like, Dan Snyder, the NFL, fucking some sellout Rock Nation CEO, like DeMaurice Smith, who's trying to take fucking
care of himself.
Yeah, and advantage of his players.
Yeah. And they say that
it's like the least bad guy in this is the like unabashed racist old white coach.
Well, that's the thing is the whole thing is fascinating, and kind of also what they say in this is we don't know exactly who leaked to the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times. Those are the two big stories on Gruden. But the crazy part is there's still 650,000 emails. And the one takeaway, if you listen to this, is they say point blank, people on record, or I mean off record, are telling these guys for the podcast, point blank, it would incriminate the entire league, was the verbiage.
Of course.
If these emails are out, like, no one is protected. As far as you can only imagine what's in these emails.
Well, that was the whole thing with the Kaepernick case, right? When you go back to that, it was like people love to pretend Kaepernick didn't get, like, I mean, he was obviously still blackballed from the league, but people want to act like he deserved it or whatever. And then also that he like didn't end up winning in the end. Like, he did win. They settled with those two guys. And anybody who wants to believe some propaganda report that they gave Colin Kaepernick $12 in a handshake and he went away is insane. Like, they made a ton of money. The NFL paid them a ton of money. And the reason the NFL paid them a ton of money had nothing to do with the collusion case. It had to do with they just didn't want to open up. They didn't want to have to let people dig around in the NFL fucking evidence. They didn't want NFL's private business out there because it would have opened up a fucking can of worms about God knows what else.
Well, that's and
finances, racism,
oh, yeah.
CTE, TV deals, fucking injuries, gambling, like sexual harassment.
It's
rapes.
Still out there. Well,
yeah.
That's the thing. So Gruden is so far winning. Every judge, his lawsuit against the NFL, not a single judge has dismissed this. So this is moving through the courts. And I guess his goal is, he claims, who knows? I never know what to believe people. He claims his goal is not money. He definitely doesn't need the money.
Right.
Apparently his goal is like, fuck Roger Goodell and
right.
fuck the NFL. I guess his goal is the discovery. Like, they say he wants all this public. Like, I want this stuff public. You guys come at me. What all have you been saying? And, at the end of the day, Snyder fucked himself, because the irony is he tried to divert to Gruden, which worked, but ultimately Congress then got involved, and they wouldn't have got involved until those things leaked. And they said, well, hold on. We think it's more than just these racist or whatever emails. There's more to this. I mean, the whole thing is crazy. On top of that, I don't know if you saw the news that just came out yesterday. On top of this, apparently Dan Snyder's team, his legal team, presented a PowerPoint presentation containing blackmail material for all NFL top league execs during a meeting when the NFL started going after them. Dude, this is like an episode of Succession.
Yeah. It's more like an episode of The Sopranos, because the Succession, they like the end game there was just like money. It's like whatever. There's so much money in the NFL, and there's so many people that are involved. It's like Roger Goodell seems like the guy who would have somebody fucking killed over this shit.
Oh, I wouldn't be shocked at all.
I would not be shocked at all.
No. Well, I mean, this is a multi-billion dollar conglomerate. You're going to protect that. And there's no way any of this stuff gets leaked. In fact, part of the agreement that I learned from listening to this is that when they started doing the investigation on Washington, the agreement that the NFL had with the investigation team was that there would be nothing written. So again, this has nothing to do with the emails. That's separate. So the investigation was that it would all be an oral report given whoever was, doing the dirty work on finding all this stuff, the former attorney, whoever it was, which doesn't make sense to me, right, Prano? The NFL is saying, oh, we're going to do a backroom shake, handshake deal. Hey, you can investigate Dan Snyder. None of it can be documented.
Right.
You have to present the case only orally, because they don't want any of that shit getting leaked.
No paper trail.
No paper trail. And I am excited for the NFL season, man.
It's exactly like, this is a good segue into a little pseudo review / recommendation. I went and saw the new Mission Impossible last night. I only go to movie theaters to see Tom Cruise at this point. My manager took me to the new Mission Impossible, and the whole thing is about like an AI taking over, and basically like all the like tech tricks that the Mission Impossible team do throughout, they can't really do because it's watching and listening everything that they're doing, and it's like taking over. And it's like that's where we're at now, where it's like
100%.
like before you would never have a paper trail, like a literal paper trail. You'd be like, don't fucking write that stuff down. Now it's like, dude, if you speak it into your phone or you have it on the internet or you DM it to somebody or you whatever, it's like that shit lives forever.
Forever.
Not only does it live forever, but unlike paper trails, like there was a time even in the paper trail, like, okay, well, what, you're gonna send me a photo of that? It's like now you find something, it's like, here, check it out. Look what I just found.
What's funny to me is that the NFL.
I wouldn't be surprised if Roger Goodell was like Chris D'Elia and he was just doing all his backdoor deals through Snapchat, so they disappeared.
I mean, seriously. But again, it's, remember when I said last season, if every NFL owner had some sort of Epstein Island they were all connected to with underage, like nobody would care. You would not, like, people would still watch the NFL. Nobody would care. That's why I'm still kind of amazed, like the lengths that they're going to. I'm like, you guys think people really care? I mean, I'm thinking of the Ray Rice scandal, everything that happened with Kaepernick. Like, it was quote unquote rough waters for a minute, but like, it didn't really. Did it ever really affect the fandom?
And to be honest, that's the thing. Is like, if you look at the Kaepernick thing, for example, the NFL created that problem.
Yeah.
Like Colin Kaepernick taking a knee during that wasn't a problem. Like when you talk about the conservative boycotts or whatever, like the report came out yesterday. Kid Rock still serves Bud Light at his bar. Kid Rock still serves Bud Light at his bar. Target's still open. Carhartt's still open. Nike, fucking Clay Travis's kids are head to toe dressed in Nike. Like the boycotts aren't real.
Well, I think some of them are. I mean, Bud Light has legit taken a hit financially.
Bud Light isn't a fucking Bud Light is a brand within a brand. Anheuser-Busch is fine. Everybody's like, Modelo's the number one drinking fucking beer in America now. Modelo's Anheuser-Busch. What are you guys talking about?
No, I don't think it is. They were sold. So Modelo was actually bought. I know all this stuff just from living in St. Louis. So Modelo, Anheuser-Busch was bought by InBev, which is a Belgium company.
Right.
Modelo
has 8 million brands underneath it. Like, I'm not drinking fucking Bud Light anymore. I'm switching to fucking Shock Top. And you're like, you fucking idiots. But again, the Kaepernick thing, the only reason that was ever a scandal is because the NFL addressed it. And the NFL tried to fucking make a rule about it. And the NFL blackballed him. Like, if he had just done it, like, it never would have taken on the fucking, it never would have been a thing that it was. It's the same thing. Like, we talk about all that. I mean, when you talk about all the Black Lives Matter and the fucking, George Floyd, it's like, dude, if you watch a guy get murdered on fucking camera and you just like arrest the dude that murders him, like, that's the end of the fucking story. But it's like, well, I mean, we should really think about this. How is Tim kneeling going to affect the NFL? Like, if we just let all the players have an opinion, then, like, dude, then you went through this whole process and came back around to like, oh yeah, I guess they're all allowed to kneel and we're not going to do anything. And you fucked yourself by even making it a conversation. If you'd just been like, okay, that one dude's doing that thing, who gives a fuck?
I would almost argue that was the rare time that the NFL PR machine didn't work well.
But the NFL, that's kind of my point about what you're saying in this situation is like the NFL PR machine doesn't need to do like CTE.
Yeah,
the CTE scandal was, but it was only a thing because the NFL tried to pretend it wasn't a thing.
Well, you're right. That when the movie came out, it turned into a whole thing after concussion.
That they were covering it up and whatever. And it's like the NFL should have just been like, yeah, man, football is dangerous and helmets can't really protect your brain. And you're likely to get brain damage if you play this, but we pay you really well for it. You're also likely to turn an ankle if you play basketball. and eventually your Achilles or your ACL is going to go. It's always, this is what the NFL always does. Isn't this the Ray Rice situation too? Wasn't the issue with the Ray Rice situation? They covered it up.
100%.
They had the tape.
Yeah,
and
they knew.
And they didn't do anything about it. The NFL always fucks themselves because they don't understand that they're the biggest thing in the world and they're the machine, and they should never worry about, because people don't
care.
Give a fuck.
Yeah. Well, and the lies. So even on today's story, they talk about the blackmail PowerPoint presentation that Dan Snyder's legal team was presenting. In this article that I'm reading on Sports Illustrated, it point blank says, which 100% I don't agree with. His team presented this PowerPoint presentation. It took place at the NFL headquarters in June of 2021. It included screenshots of embarrassing emails from top executives and personnel from all around the NFL. However, none of the content was sexist, anti-LGBTQ, or graphic. Bullshit. So they have a blackmail campaign. It doesn't include any of that stuff?
Right.
No way. Who is it? Ron Burgundy? I don't believe you.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But again, it is, look, this to me is a fascinating Netflix series someday if they do it. I'd almost argue the NFL is so big, this will never happen.
Right.
People might think I'm crazy when I say this, but I'm going to say it. And I do believe in this. I'm not just saying this to be like a hot take guy right now. The power of the NFL in our country with money and political connections and prestige, I don't think you'll ever see this stuff because people are going to say you're nuts. I think it's like close to the CIA, FBI level, the NFL in America.
Well, it's all the same, it's essentially the same people, right? Like people always talk about like the money. It's like the CIA, when you talk about like all this shit, if you go back all, like, not to go full fucking conspiracy, but if you go through like the birth of the CIA and the birth of like all these things, is like, it's all just super rich military industrial complex families protecting their own money and power. It has nothing to do, like, all of that, all of the things that we always see when it comes to like government and like social change or whatever, it has nothing to do with like racism or sexism or whatever. It's all about power, and it's all about the people who have power and money not letting other people get it. And that's the thing with the NFL, is like, you look around, it's all oil guys and tech guys.
Oh, yeah.
And whatever. It's like, and finance guys and real estate guys. It's like they are the Illuminati.
Mm-hmm. They are the Bilderberg Group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, exactly. And that's the thing. And that's why I always say, like, I'm not going to stop watching the NFL. Like, I am that person. Like, dude, like you said, I don't know what you said again, but I'm fascinated by all this, but I also still will keep watching.
But Goodell, see, you know who would be the best commissioner in the NFL? You know who would do it infinitely better than Goodell? Is Charlie Sheen. Like, Charlie Sheen never was like, I don't fuck hookers. He's like, I fuck hookers. And then they were like, but he's like, yeah, what about it? They're like, do you have drugs in this house? He's like, if I do, I'll find it and do it. And they're like, what the fuck? Like, he's just like so owning his own shit that it's like, you can't. It's like Andy Dick. You know what I mean? The whole world is you're going back 30 years, and everybody who's ever done anything sexually inappropriate is getting in trouble, except for Andy Dick, who's like just like a fucking cross-gender rapist, sexual assaulter. And he's like, yeah, I'm crazy. And they're like, well, okay, well, I guess if he said it, then we don't really have anything. Like, if you expose yourself, there's nothing to expose. And it's like, obviously the NFL is continuing to grow and build, but I just think that's people's love of football. And the only reason they ever get themselves into a little bit of hot water is because people find out that they tried to hide it. Like, just be like, yeah, football causes your brain to explode. Are we pretending that we didn't all know this?
Yeah. What?
Well, then why are you guys hiding it? That's a great question. Why are we hiding it?
Well, and that's the thing. And we wouldn't even be having this conversation right now.
Yeah.
Like this wouldn't be a whole. I wouldn't have listened to a whole podcast this morning. I just, it wouldn't be as interesting if people were just like, hey, this is what I do.
Remember the whole thing like came from Kaepernick, and then like then somebody was like the Texans owner said the one thing, and then everybody's like the owners fucking essentially treat us like slaves, and it's like, oh yeah, we all like that's like we know that, right? Like you guys are used for your physical bodies and then thrown in the garbage can. Like, yeah. Also, like you play football. You knew that when you signed up for it.
Yeah.
Like
goes both ways.
Yeah, absolutely. But like covering this shit up. And then it's like that to me has always been the thing that was what was offensive to me. That was why like we got to the point when it was like I was about to be out on football when they were like, we're going to punish people. It's like, no. We're not going to do this thing where you guys like hide it, then get caught, and then go like, we're literally going to, ban free speech in the league. Like we're going to ban people having an opinion. I was like, well, we're not going to do that. I'm not going to watch the National Fascist League. Like we're not fucking, I'm not going to watch that. But like short of that, we're all going to watch it because it's entertaining as fuck. But just own that shit.
Yeah, just knowing what you are. And obviously the NFL, I mean, let me look. What did you lead the show with? You're talking about the quarterback. We're talking about Hard Knocks. These are all NFL products. Game isn't going anywhere. None of these sports are going anywhere, especially with all the social media and everything. Although I'll be honest, I didn't watch any of the All-Star game. I watched a little actually.
Did you watch the home run derby?
I didn't.
What would you say you do here? This guy. Since our last episode, he's read 4,000 encrypted documents about the John Gruden scandal, listened to 3 podcasts, interviewed John Gruden's pool boy on what he knows. Didn't watch a second of the Major League Baseball All-Star game.
No, I watched the first inning.
Okay.
I watched the first inning, and then I did not watch any of the home run derby. I don't know what
I have a home run derby hot take.
Okay.
People, and this to me is kind of it's a very much a sort of I don't want to say like a generational divide, but like I've seen a lot of people dunking on what used to be the home run derby and being like, oh my God, the home run derby's great now. We have all these things, and there's this you get this many home runs, you get this many extra seconds if you hit this ball this far, and blah blah blah. It's like it's too fast for me. And it's not too, it's like, it's enjoyable, but to me, I don't remember anything from the last 10 home run derbies other than like, oh, this guy had like a good round, but like also they didn't end up winning and whatever. Like growing up, I have like incredibly vivid memories of Griffey hitting the warehouse. I have incredibly vivid memories of when they played the game in Pittsburgh.
Yes.
And it was in the middle of the fucking steroid era. And
they're hitting balls.
Frank Thomas was hitting balls, and McGuire was hitting balls like to distances you could not imagine.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, show it again.
Yeah. I remember
it hit the facade of the fucking roof. And now it's just like they don't even show you where the balls land.
No, you're right. I never thought. No, that's actually I agree with. I just like you, I couldn't tell you the last few, and all those things you just said, I do remember as well.
And it kind of, to me, I actually don't think it. I don't necessarily think it you're finding out who the truly like the best home run hitter is.
Okay.
Because when you watch baseball, like I understand dunking, the NBA dunk contest is like, it's not quite basketball, but like to me, like a rapid fire thing is completely different from like who, like in baseball, you're picking your pitches. Like I just rather see guys hit less of them and hit them farther and just bask in it.
Okay,
I mean,
here's a question.
Chris Berman couldn't even exist now. He'd be like, bark, next pitch, bark, next.
So we went to the home run derby, I believe it was 2016 in San Diego.
Yeah.
Who won? I couldn't tell you.
Giancarlo Stanton, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Remember, he fucking was, his home runs were like on a different level.
You're right. He was murdering it. That's right. It would be better to show the ball.
I just think it, and I get it. It's the new generation, and it's the short. It's why we have a pitch clock. They just don't have the attention span for it. But to me, there's nothing real. Like there's not like the most interesting part of this home run derby in like by a fucking country mile was Adley Rushman's dad throwing to him, having a good fucking round, getting a bonus 30 seconds, switching to the right side and hitting from over there. It was like, that was by far the most interesting thing. And he lost in the first round and he was done. And Julio Rodriguez's fucking 41 round was great, but like he didn't win.
Yeah. Well, they just don't.
Like Vlad Guerrero's performance, and he's the guy who won, was like, it wasn't even interesting to watch for me. It was like watching a guy in a softball contest. Like his swing was wild, and he's like barely swing. He's just like, let me just do whatever it takes to get it out.
Dude, he's a big boy, by the way.
That's what I'm saying. So he's just like flick, and like wild fucking swings.
Vlad Jr. is like two Vlad seniors.
Yeah.
Like his dad was pretty skinny, right?
Yeah, I mean, he was a big dude too, but like certainly way skinnier than Junior.
Junior's a big boy.
Yeah.
What if they did a home run derby greats? I just thought of something. Would that be interesting at all?
What do you mean?
Like they bring back former winners.
The dude, those guys, there's like 3 dudes alive. There's like Barry Bonds, fucking probably Griffey.
Josh Hamilton comes out on meth.
Yeah, it's like those guys, like the quickness with which they fall off and like unable to hit fucking home runs anymore.
Is that bad, huh?
Ah, for sure. Like Matt Holliday right now is not coming back and hitting 6 bombs.
Bring in like a mini fence.
Yeah.
Okay, hear me out.
To me, that's actually, and I've talked about this before. There was a couple of Major League Baseball video games. God, we've definitely brought this up before, and people have told me which one it was. But there was ones where, like, all of a sudden, like you could the where you're hitting was like in a living room and in a fucking whatever, and there's targets, and if you hit it in the mouth, you get this much. Like to me, that's way more interesting. Less pitches, more targeted hits, more fucking. You're trying to hit it here. You got to hit one to the upper deck. You got to hit one the opposite way. You got to hit one. Like that's infinitely more interesting to me.
Well, I was going to say is you bring back the former players and they dress as furries, which I see we have a comment. Hall of Fame Dirtball Stanga. Did I miss any furry discussion? You did not. We've not discussed furries, but Frano, who knew? The furry discussion was extremely well received from the dirtball community. No surprise there.
Yeah. Extremely well received.
I mean, lots of DMs, lots of personal stories. I've learned that, well, first of all, did you know about this Netflix show?
About furries?
Yeah.
I knew about it, yeah. I haven't watched it.
Sexy Beasts? I haven't watched it either. But, I got a trailer here, which we should watch real quick. It's a quick trailer. I guess this show came out like a few years ago. Let's see what we got here.
I want to get married. I want to have babies before I'm like 26. Do you have health insurance?
Welcome to the strangest blind date ever.
Hey, how you doing?
How are you?
How you doing?
Could you fall in love with someone based on personality alone?
What is your ideal woman?
Personality for me is everything.
But see, these aren't furries.
No.
Personality.
This
You're
is-
the best looking devil I've ever seen.
This is really weird.
They're
right
just
now.
in makeup. They're in costume.
Yeah, this is Love is Blind, but you're
in a
actually getting
costume.
Yeah.
So
So this is kind of misleading.
I like your fin.
So what if I pick you and I'm not what you expect underneath? Oh my God!
When the furry's gonna get a show?
I've kissed this girl and I
What's
don't
that?
know what she looks
When
like.
the furry's gonna get a show? I mean, see, that's the thing.
I'm certain there's a furry show.
Is anybody a furry out there? 310-359-8365.
I think they've probably tried to call before, but they have a hard time hitting the buttons with the paw on.
I'm curious. Are there any dirtball furries? Now I did get an Instagram message again. Like the messages were through the roof. I got a message from a dirtball talking about. This isn't going to surprise you. A dirtball who lives in Portland. Yo, these furries start young. My son had 2 sisters in his class that identified as furries in 5th grade. They weren't wearing full costumes, but they would wear a hat and had ears like that girl from Bob's Burgers, and they would wear raccoon tails clipper to their raccoon tail clippers to their pants. Bro. What is happening? I'm not surprised. Also, that's crazy. Dude, can you imagine trying to teach some sort of fractions and a kid walks in with a raccoon tail? I'd be like, yo, bro, what are you doing?
But like also at the same time, is it like that much more crazy than half the other shit the fucking kid, like, you know what I mean? Like what? Like it's essentially, I mean, you're in 5th grade. It's not like, yeah, and then they went into the bathroom and they fucked a dinosaur. Like it's essentially just like a fashion choice at that point. Like imagine being our 5th grade teachers when we came in, like I went to a school with a dress code and so did you, but
Yeah.
like you imagine being a fucking 5th grader in like 1992 and like you're some teacher and you gotta try to teach a lesson while the kid in the front row's got a big Johnson's boat company thing. Like the bigger your Johnson, the thicker your jet ski. And this teacher's like, I'm trying to fucking teach algebra and I have a gigantic cock joke that I've got to like decode in front of me.
Well, that's one thing, but if like the teacher says to the student, she's like, hey, you know, call me Miss Raccoon now. You're like, whoa, hi, my name's Rocky the Raccoon. You're like, dude, I can't. Because I told him, I don't believe you. Basically. Because they all hear this. I don't believe it because I think half the shit people say, oh, so
well, listen, to me, I totally believe that, and I think it's realistic. But it's like it's the thing where it's like the real version of it is always way more believable than the things that people fucking like. So these girls have fucking clipped on a raccoon tail and wore little hats with ears. It's like, okay, oh, and they identify as fucking all right, whatever. And then it's like, did you hear? All the schools in Florida now have to have litter boxes for the kids that are pissing that identify as cats. And you're like, that's not happening. That's not a real story. That's so unbelievably dumb.
No, I know. I know people take things and they try to put it extreme. I mean, the furry thing though. I still want to know, but how you guys get off. Like, you think there's a furry who listens to the show?
I don't know. I hope so. Call us and let us know.
Like, is it gonna sound like that? Like you can't understand them?
Again, I just want to know how many kids this weekend or this week during All-Star Week found out that they were furries. You know, their parents took them to the home run derby, then the fucking, then the celebrity softball game starts to happen. Mariner Moose gets everybody hyped up. This kid's like, Dad, I got to go to the bathroom for a minute. Are you okay, son? Yeah, just feeling some sort of way.
Is this really true? Fun fact, wolves, foxes are the most popular furry persona. Which animal would you be, Andy? Why don't you ever see furry sharks? I'm just going to put it out there.
Sharks aren't furry, Andy. They're pretty slick.
So you couldn't have like a shark hat. Okay. I never didn't think that one through. Maybe like a lion or a tiger. Some sort of cat. What would you be if you were furry?
I have no idea.
Then you got to choose one. What would you be if you were furry?
If I was a furry, I guess some sort of bear. A bear of
Okay, hear me out. We all become furries in New Orleans for the 1000th episode.
Well, that's Andy. That I was talking about this last episode, and I talked to you about it before. But where there's a great, it's really one of the most fun things I've ever done is the history of New Orleans drinking bike tour. I forget what the fuck the company's called, but they do these bike tours, and you get on these bikes and you drive. And the year I did it, we all did it in costume. And I did it as a banana. I have my famous banana costume.
Yeah.
I did it as a banana, and we're on the door. And then at one point, we're like literally sitting outside the fucking, we're sitting outside the bar having drinks. So you can drink outside. You just take them and you put them in the bikes have these cup holders for your cocktails. Perfect. Sitting outside, and then just like this New Orleans, like he wasn't homeless, but he was definitely like a street kid. You know what I mean? He just comes up and he stands next to me, and he looks me dead in the eyes, and he starts peeling and eating a banana.
Shut up.
Just literally being like, I'm murdering your kind right now. And I was like, all right, well, I'm just in a costume, bro. And he was just like, no, he was so angry about it. He was like, just like, want you to know I'm eating your soul. I was like,
that's
okay.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Did you see what Rory McIlroy said? He just keeps getting douchier for me. Did you see what he said?
No.
Of course you didn't. You kill me. See, here's the difference. Like, you'll have something that you see, and then I'll be like, you didn't see this.
Dude, you didn't watch the NFL All-Star or the MLB All-Star game, and I have to know a quote a golfer made this week. Is there even a tournament happening right now?
Come on, Joe.
He said something about Liv.
Yeah,
right?
he did.
Yeah. Said he wouldn't play for Liv or something like that.
He said if Liv Golf was the last place to play golf on earth, I would retire.
Which, by the way, is a stolen quote, first of all. That's a Ken Griffey Jr. stolen quote. He said if the Yankees were the only team to play for, I would retire.
That's how I feel about it. I'd play the majors, but I'd be okay. I'd play the majors, but I'd be pretty comfortable. Like what?
But Liv Tour is the only tour.
That's what I don't really understand. Like it's
Liv just bought the PGA.
Like it's the Liv money. It's the same people. We just talked about with the NFL. Follow the. What is wrong with Rory McIlroy?
He made his bed because he was trying, like, essentially, Rory McIlroy. This is the thing with Rory. He's not interesting. He's not fucking interesting. The only thing that was interesting about Rory McIlroy, and this is what Tug said when he came on the show, is like he was the heir apparent to Tiger. And Tiger didn't need to do it because Tiger has a ton of money. And Tiger also didn't need to do it because Tiger's a whole legacy
Is the PGA.
His accomplishments in the PGA, the most majors, the most tour wins, the most weeks as a world number one, all that shit.
Well, second most majors, but yeah.
Right. Whatever. All his PGA statistics. And Rory, as the guy who was supposed to be the heir apparent to Tiger, he's just following his boy. He was just like, oh, the guy they all compare him to, this is the thing. I'm a Nike dude. I'm the all blah, blah, blah. I'm just going to stick. Like, this is how we got here. Sort of no one bigger than the brand kind of thing. And it's like, this isn't the NFL. No one gives a fuck about the PGA. Also, just like the NFL, the PGA is dirty as fuck.
Yeah, I mean, seriously.
Like the idea that you're going to stand again. This is the whole thing with everything. Everybody's a hypocrite piece of shit. You go out there now, and it's like all the people are trying to like, oh, the NBA in China. It's like, what the fuck are you like? What are we talking about? LeBron James is a guy who plays basketball. Now he's got to be responsible for answering the questions about where the league gets its TV money, and like he plays bad. What's he supposed to do? Go play in Europe? Like, what are we talking about? So the idea, again, Rory dug his own grave. Why anyone ever acted like joining the Live was some sort of ethically and morally irresponsible thing to do when when PGA guys need to write kids like you have to get special permissions to go watch the Masters if you're black, because technically we just opened we started allowing women here in 2004. You're like, what the fuck are we talking about? Like, the idea that there's some sort of moral superiority for the PGA is ludicrous. When you look at all of the things that sponsor golfers, Nike, like all the golf is sponsored by big banking fucking financial fucking things. So, like, what are we talking about? So Rory acting when he doesn't give a shit, some sort of moral superiority, he dug his own grave, and now he has to stand by it instead of just being like, you know what, I'm going to take an L. Never should have done that. Didn't see this backfiring in my face because I'm an idiot, because money always wins. Like, you do not have some moral superiority for choosing the PGA over the Live Tour. In fact, it just makes you dumb. And what it makes you seem like is a fucking, like you're like the PGA just cucked you into believing like you don't deserve more money.
Yeah, I mean it's like hilarious to me. I'm saying like what's wrong? Like, that's why I say, what's wrong with you? Like are you not like you are basically taking that same money. You're gonna take that same money.
He's already taking that money.
Yeah, you're right. I know. Speaking
Dude,
of
they had nets. They have nets around fucking Nike factories to catch people jumping out the window. He just strolls out there with a Nike hat every week. Just do it. You mean just do it? Just jump out the window?
Forgot about the nets outside the Nike factories. Well, speaking of taking
or
money,
Apple or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But it's all the same shit. There's no this is something that like is being talked about more and more recently about like billionaires. Like, it is impossible to be an ethical billionaire. It's impossible. The amount of money that it takes to be a billionaire, you have to be taking advantage of your labor force to be a billionaire. You have to be. You 100% have to be. Like, Uber didn't fucking like, oh, we're not giving you health insurance. You're not fucking employees. Like Amazon, we're not, they're just fucking part-time workers. Like Nike in sweatshops and Apple in sweatshops. It's like, it's impossible to make $1 billion without taking advantage of your labor force. It's impossible. The NFL and Major League Baseball and the NBA and the PGA, they're all great examples of it too. Can you imagine being on the PGA Tour and they're like, if you don't make a cut, you don't make any money? Why? Did people not pay to come to fucking Thursday, Friday? What are we talking about here? Like, billionaires all take advantage of their labor force. So the idea that you're going to bow to the throne of the PGA, you look like a dork loser who's never read a book.
well, it's a perfect time to talk about people who pay me and you. Miller Lite, what's going on, Joe?
Yeah, the best, the only truly soulful company on planet Earth. They just invented light beer, just a company out here being like, actually thinking about people. What if it's lighter? What a legendary company that is.
Yeah. What if it's lighter? What if it was only 96 calories?
Yeah.
3.2 carbs.
What if it was only 3.2 carbs?
only?
This is in 1975 or whatever. This is before the carb boom.
Yeah.
This is before the
1975.
Atkins diet.
They were Miller Lite was so far
Truly
ahead
ahead of the game.
I mean, and I think that's why if you guys see like their logo now, it's just light.
Yeah.
They're going back to their roots. They're like, we're just light because that's what we came out. We were the first one. We're the best one. We're just light. I know you have so many good memories. You guys can make good memories this summer too, with your friends, with your fam. Go drink some Miller Lights.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a couple Miller Lite pint cans getting extra cold right now. They're right by the cold blower in my fridge. It's going directly into my minimal cooler pocket. Going to play golf this afternoon. And at this point, it's like, this is what it's like to be a 40-something-year-old dude. It's just like, that's just peak enjoyment for me.
Yeah.
A couple Miller Lite pint cans, afternoon of golf. Let's go. Forget the American dream. This is the global dream at this point.
Well, with a Miller Lite in your hand, summer doesn't just taste great. It tastes like Miller time. To get Miller Lite delivered right to your door, visit MillerLite.com/dirty sports, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. Okay. Let's do a couple calls here from the Dirtball fam. 310-359-8365. Once again, that is our hotline. And we'll start off with this one.
Hey guys, Brad from Orange County, longtime listener. So when I was listening to the last episode, Andy, you were saying how, ripped Bo Jackson used to be and how, now he just looks like any other athlete would after so many years in 2023. Well, it got me thinking. It's funny how some athletes will look great, after years and years of being out of the league. Then you have others who you're like, wow, you're not even recognizable anymore. For me, when I was younger, it was impossible to imagine someone like, Allen Iverson not being lean and cut. Well, now every time they show him on TV, dude has a double chin. Anyways, who are some current athletes you think will age well physically? And then the opposite. Who do you think will not age so well? Who do you picture just completely letting themselves go? Anyways, stay dirty, and condoms are for Elon Musk stans.
Hell yeah.
So,
first of all, let me just add one thing on. Like, Bo Jackson still doesn't look like ever. Like, Bo Jackson's still, but looks way more like your average athlete these days. But Bo Jackson, even today, Bo Jackson, you're like, geez, the dude is wide as fuck.
Yeah. Well, and I want to give a caveat to these athletes. Like, their whole life or during their professional time, they got to be in great shape. So, like, dude, you want to fall off and not give a shit? Like, more power to you.
I think some of it is guys who had to like kind of work to stay in shape. And then I think that the majority of what happens for these athletes is like they don't change their regimen in terms of their diet as much, but they change their regimen in terms of their exercise. Like they just stop. They're like, okay, well, I'm not an NBA basketball player anymore, so I don't spend every single day running 5 miles. But I haven't changed my diet at all. It's not like they're all of a sudden being like, I'm going to eat fucking ice cream sundaes every meal. They're just like suddenly not exercising to the max, and but what they're eating and drinking stays the same. great example of it. Mikey, my brother, dude, when Mikey hurt his shoulder in college, he was like a skinny defensive back. He hurt his shoulder in college. My brother was like over 300 pounds for a minute. Like he just kept drinking 30 beers a day. And I was just like, dude, you're not like running or going to the gym anymore. I don't think you could just drink 30 beers a day and eat full pizzas. Like,
yeah.
Like, you know, you always hear the thing about like the Michael Phelps, like his Olympic diet was like, oh, he'd get up in the morning, eat 14 eggs and then 2 porterhouse steaks, and then he'd swim 11 miles. It's like if he just took the swimming 11 miles out of it, he'd be 1,000 pounds.
The person like post retirement that which he recently was shooting people in a parking lot. The person that I just can't get over is Sean Kemp.
Yeah.
I mean, I shouldn't laugh, but I'm laughing, bro. Look how big Sean Kemp is,
dude. Zion Williamson is gonna be Brendan Fraser in The Whale. Zion Williamson is going to take his money and just be drinking 64-ounce fucking Mountain Dews till his heart explodes, right? Like he's got no chance of staying skinny. He's barely staying skinny now.
Oh yeah, he was the first. When you left that call, Brad, that was the first one I thought of. Was Zion Williamson? You know he's going to blow up.
But then there's just guys who have certain body types, and you know that's just like.
You know what?
Jacob DeGrom's not going to be fat when he stops playing baseball.
Yeah, well, you know who I love is seeing the reverse. I love seeing the huge O linemen.
Oh yeah, who like struggled to keep on weight,
and then they're out of the league. You know, they're retired from the NFL, and you're like, oh,
yeah. It's like what's his name? The old Giants O lineman who does like NFL. Is it O'Hara? Sean O'Hara. Come on, you're like, are you blocked for people, dude?
Who's the guy? Or the guy, the Colts name is the coach.
Yeah.
Dude, you were the center. What's his name?
Yeah.
Why am I forgetting his name?
Jeff Saturday.
Jeff Saturday. You're like, dude, you were blocking? You were the center?
Yeah.
All those guys, like Mark Schlereth, they all were like big dudes, and then they're like, okay, I was bulking up like that.
And that's the thing, especially with those offensive linemen. The offensive linemen go one of two ways. They're either skinny and then suddenly they're like on the NFL Network, or they die immediately. They're just like their heart explodes.
Joe Thomas, yeah, thanks for the comment, Gene. Joe Thomas, have you seen how good he looks?
No.
On NFL Network? Oh yeah. You are right, dude. It either look great or I shouldn't be laughing. It's just like instant heart attack.
Yeah. Like Kendrick Perkins is not long for this world.
Why am I laughing?
I mean, I like Kendrick Perkins. I hope I'm wrong.
Oh man. And dude, you coming at Brad, it was interesting that you would come at like is Allen Iverson? Like, did he get chunky? I don't.
Yeah, he's chunky. He's chunky,
chunky?
but also like he's one of those guys too. He wasn't a super like lanky guy. You know, he's like 6 foot or something like that. 6'1".
Yeah. No, you're right.
But like T-Mac, remember how skinny T-Mac was in the league? Now T-Mac's kind of like, he's a little thick in the middle.
Yeah.
Melo will be fat in 5 years.
I was just going to say, Melo's going to be fat.
Yeah.
Yeah, he for sure will be. I kind of want to see a fat LeBron.
Dude, I feel like LeBron has that potential. I mean, I know he's such a freak in terms of like the physicalness, but I think that's a lot of times too, where those guys who are just like the freak fitness guy, it's just like they get a break and they're just like, I'm good.
Tell me, I think okay, here's a wild take.
But LeBron could turn into like a fucking offensive lineman after the fact.
I think fat LeBron would actually help his image.
You think it'd soften him literally and figuratively?
I think it would. I'm serious. I kind of want to see fat LeBron. Oh yeah, Magic Johnson got thick too.
Yeah.
That was always my favorite about Magic Johnson. I'd always be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. AIDS is supposed to make you skinny.
Yeah. We never had AIDS, Andy.
I know.
He doesn't
Did he
even
ever
have
have
HIV
HIV?
anymore. Yeah.
Conspiracy. All right. This will be the last call we do on this one. Our boy's calling back again to defend his fandom. He took some shrapnel.
Oh God, here we go.
Reds Browns. I mean,
this is the new Lamar Jackson. This is like the new Lamar Jackson Matt Ryan conversation. No, what I didn't say last time. You don't understand. My dad, he's from this place, but my mom, she's from this place. Is that basically what we're getting
What's up,
into?
boys? This is Jordan, #1, Putnam County, Ohio, dirtball, just calling in to defend my fandom to you guys and the caller from the last episode. So lifelong Reds fan, born into a family of Steelers fans, and I always thought that was kind of dumb because they're not from Ohio and they're a contender every year. Might as well be a Patriots fan. And Bengals were always just kind of boring and mediocre, and Browns fandom existence was pure pain. So I just rooted for my fantasy players until week 1 of 2017. At that point, my wife and her family were all Browns fans. Most of my friends are Browns fans. They go 4-0 in the preseason, and they give the Steelers a 3-point game in week 1. So week 1 of 2017, I said, let's fucking go. Hugh Jackson and Deshaun Kaiser are going to go all the way this year, and they went all the way to an 0-16 parade at the end of the year. But I've been punching in at the Factory of Sadness ever since, because Browns fans get turned no matter what, and the celebration's going to be awesome when they finally win one.
Well, that won't happen.
Bro.
Calling in at 3:30 because my 6-month-old woke up, had to get her back to bed, so condoms are obviously not for me.
I feel you, buddy.
Listen, the one thing I can like support is like he took up with his wife's teams. I guess that there's something like honorable about that if you didn't have a fandom, and then obviously there's something honorable about taking up with a fandom that like stinks. And I hopefully there was a little bit of sarcasm in there that he didn't think he was like taking up with like a team that was on the up and up. Like you had Hugh Jackson and Deshaun Kaiser. But I don't think he's going to experience like any sort of winning. Although Andy did predict you guys are going to win this year, so there's that. But
playoffs,
also,
baby, they're going to make the playoffs.
But also, it feels weird. Like it feels weird not to have talked in depth with your wife's family and not having them be like, no, definitely don't do this. What are you talking about? This is a terrible idea. If like somebody came to me and they were like, I'm going to be a Mets fan, I'd be like, I don't recommend that. I did like, where are you from, man? Like, let's talk this out. You have options. I'm not saying be a Yankee fan.
I'll give Browns fans credit. They have just sucked. They stick with them, man. Like
NFL fans, for sure. We can agree on this. I don't know much about hockey. But when it compares to baseball
NBA,
and basketball,
yeah,
there's no delusion like NFL fans.
Oh, there's none.
The amount of money I've won just off of dirt balls, like sliding in my DMs in preseason and be like, the Vikings are going 15-1 and going to the Super Bowl. I got $200 on it. I'm like, okay. I mean, famously, remember Mac? $1,000 bet on Jay Cutler. On Jay Cutler. The dude had to wipe himself from the internet for a while. He just woke up and was like, yeah, this is the year Jay Cutler gets it together. The fucking, there's no more delusion than NFL fans. I'm guilty of it as anybody. But at the same time, you know, I also root for a franchise who's won Super Bowls as fucking the wild card and beating 18-0 Patriots. I'm not a Browns fan.
Speaking of, You made me go to the Detroit Lions Reddit.
Yeah, I mean, a perfect example.
This is the last post, or one of the recent posts. Detroit Lions QB Jared Goff was blitzed the league high 186 times in 2022 per Pro Football Reference, and this is what it says. Goff was blitzed, 186 times. Teams try to rattle Goff in 2022, but he still had near career high numbers in his second season as Lions starter. Lions OC Ben Johnson does a great job of keeping things quick for dude. Again, it's like if you click on this forum, it's just a stroke fest of Jared Goff, of delusional fans. Again, sorry guys, Jared Goff's playing for a worse coach than he did in LA. He got to the Super Bowl with
on a team. He got to the Super Bowl on a team that scored like 60 points a game, and he scored 6 or whatever the fuck it was in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he got to the Super Bowl with Sean McVay, and now you have fucking Mr. Grit as your coach. You think you're going about like that's all I'm gonna say. Like, it's crazy. It really is. You know what? That would actually be a great idea. You just go from city to city and you place bets based off the local football team with their fans. Oh, you think the Lions are going to make it to the Super Bowl this year? You think they're going to make it to the NFC Championship? Cool, let's bet.
Honestly, this is absolutely positively like a surefire way to make. If you take every single team, if you go to the NFL odds over-unders right now, right? And you just look at all the teams that Vegas is predicting will have a losing record. And there are teams that Vegas says, oh, they're going to win 4.5 games. They're going to win 5.5 games. They're going to win 6.5 games. If you go to any team in the league that is predicted to win 8.5 games or less, and you placed bets with every single fan that you could possibly find of those teams that they won't have a winning record, forget the over-under. Don't go to Browns fans or whoever. Don't go to whatever shit franchise and be like, I bet you'll win 5 games. Forget the over-under. Just go to the fan bases of teams predicted to have losing records and bet that they will not have a winning record. You will make infinite amount of money.
Yeah, it's true.
Because every NFL fan base believes they're going to have a winning season. Well, we're not going to win the Super Bowl. The Bears fans are like, well, we have a chance to win the division if things break our way. Okay.
Bears are currently 7.5 over-under wins.
The amount of bets, like Vegas, I bet you Vegas has a devoted window right now for Justin Fields MVP bets. They're like, hey, the money goes directly into an incinerator. We're using it to heat the rooms at the Rio. We're not worried about paying you out. Please come place your Justin Fields bets. Oh, it's like 15-1. Cool. It's great.
They're the best.
We do money fired pizza here at the Venetian. You throw your money directly into a fire, and then we cook pizzas with it.
Seriously, it's crazy. All right, call us with your delusions. 310-359-8365. That's the hotline. Get ready. New Orleans, December 16th. We're on social.
I'm in Atlantic City in a couple weeks, August 4th and 5th. Come out to see a show. If you're a dirtball that lives somewhere in New Jersey and along the road from NYC to Atlantic City, and you're the member of I don't know, a country club or something like that, you want me and Pizza Star to come play some golf with you, we'd love to do that. I've got a show next weekend out at Agua Caliente Casino in Palm Springs, bringing another friend of the show, Andy Lazarus, with me to open for that one. So that's next Friday, July 21st. But just follow me on all social media at Joe Prano, especially on Instagram, where I put a lot of my flyers and I promote a lot of stuff. Colorado, I'm coming to you in mid-August, August 13th. Boulder, 14th, Strokes at Red Rocks. 15th, Denver. 17th, Denver. 18th, 19th, Steamboat Springs. Follow me at Joe Prano, JoePrano.com/shows. New Jersey, New York, Colorado, Palm Springs, Alaska incoming, Vegas again soon. Just follow me. New Orleans, all the places.
Cool. When is Threads gonna add a trending topics?
I don't know. Feels like soon though.
Or
Didn't
DMs.
some guy talk about it? Was like one of their like developers was like, here's what I think happened, to be totally honest with you. And I know I'm not tech, I don't follow the tech blogs or anything, but I think what happened was they were developing this and they were like, well, we're going to do all the same things. We'll have the hashtags and the trending topics and the edit button. And I think
The rate limit thing happened.
I think the rate limit thing happened. They were like, let's just launch what we have right now and get it while the getting's good, and then we can just develop as it goes.
Because you can't even post a link. Because I was trying to send somebody a link. I was like, I can't send a link.
Yeah, I just think with them working out DMs and working out all that stuff, but also the fact that it's like linked to Instagram. It's like if you want to DM somebody, just click their Instagram thing at the top of it.
Well, you know what I've been laughing to myself about is like you there's like thousands of like pervy guys out there who are just like chomping to get. My point is like that they have their own DMs that send a dick pic.
Yeah.
Like I just picture all these guys being just like restless in their room. Like, man, I'm just
if Threads was smart, your DMs on Instagram and your DMs on Threads would be the same. Like, yeah, you can look at them in both apps, but it would be the same fucking. Like, why are we gonna like?
It's probably complicated.
Yeah, but that's what I think happened. I think that they were probably in the process of developing all this, and they were like, because it kind of came out of nowhere. It wasn't like, oh, we're gonna launch this thing. In 2
no, they were
weeks.
planning on it. I was following it pretty closely. They were planning on it.
But they didn't have like a rollout. They didn't have a date where they were like, yeah, like in January. They weren't like in July. This is coming. They're just like in 72 hours. This is coming. People are like, what the fuck?
Yeah. No, I know. All right, guys, that's our show. Have a great weekend. We'll be back on. Oh yeah, Monday will be a little later.
Monday a little later. We have a very special guest on the show.
We have a guest Monday, possibly another guest later in the week. We might have 2 guests next week.
And then possibly, are we locked in Wednesday night?
I mean, we are. I got to talk to Yoshi.
Yeah. Wednesday night of next week, we're doing the show because Thursday morning, Laz and I are going to get up and head out toward the desert, play some golf, stop by my favorite bar and hotel, Caliente Tropics and the Reef Bar for a night.
Sorry, I'm keep yawning. I was up early too. God. Okay. That's it, guys. Have a great weekend.
Okay, bye.
We'll see you back on Monday. And as always, stay